Once I start the class, I shall not give entry to anybody.
Ma'am, just allow for 1 to 2 minutes, ma'am, because sometimes what happens if the request is not accepted, they cancel the request. For 1 to 2 minutes wait, ma'am, because some students are saying they want
Okay.
to.
Can you see the screen? Where is the fault? 1 minute. Fault is not coming. One minute. I have made some overwrite in the file. 1 minute. Anyway, let me teach you from the PDF. This is the last entry. I think I have taught you this much, is not it? Per unit series or series impedance of transformer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's it. From equivalent circuit we have started. Then we have seen during fault that we can neglect the shunt branch. Then for this shunt branch, if we neglect the shunt branch, then resistance and reactance are there. Further in fault calculation, we neglect the resistance as again. Then the remaining is only the reactance of the transformer. Somehow I have overwritten the PDF PPT file, so I am teaching you from the PDF file. Anyway, now fault current. What is fault current? Fault current means the current flowing through the faulted path. Now fault MVA or short circuit MVA. So fault MVA or fault that will be fault MVA actually is the fault current in per unit into pre-fault bus voltage in per unit. So pre-fault bus voltage means for voltage before the fault. So obviously, if we calculate in actual per unit value, then we have no need to bother about 3 or root 3. If we are calculating in the actual value, if we are calculating with line quantities, then root 3 into ILVL, and if it is in phase quantity, then root 3 into I phase, B phase. But if we are calculating in per unit basis, then we have need to bother about that. So if we calculate in fault MVA in per unit, if it is coming 0.9 per unit, and if our say fault base MVA is 60, then obviously total fault MVA will be 0.9 into 60, 54 MVA. Now if we want to calculate per phase fault MVA, generally we do not require. Then if our base MVA is 60, then per phase fault base MVA is 60 by 3, so 20 MVA. So if we calculate per phase fault MVA, then 0.9 into 20, 18 MVA. Could you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
So in this way, when we are calculating in per unit, then we have no need to bother about the phase quantities or line quantities. Then what are the steps to calculate the fault current? So steps to calculate the fault current is, at first you draw the single line diagram. At first you draw the single line diagram. Then you select a suitable base and convert all the system in per unit. That you know. Then draw the reactance or impedance diagram. If the resistance is not there, then only reactance diagram, otherwise impedance diagram. Then show all electrical parameter there, say voltage, impedance, all this. Then identify fault point and the reactance diagram and connect it with the reference. Calculate fault current using circuit theory. Calculate. So now you calculate using circuit theory. Calculate fault current. Now when you have converted the system in per unit, then you will calculate the fault current in the in per unit. But finally you should calculate the fault current in ampere or kiloampere. So that should be the final stage. Then next is there is an example. Say there is a solid three-phase fault at the HT terminal of the motor and the transformer in the power system showing in figure this. HT terminal of the motor. I do not know whether I can draw or need. HT terminal of the motor means this much. Okay, here there is the fault. HT terminal of the motor transformer. Where is it? HT terminal of the motor transformer. Right, for that reason. So then at first we need to convert this system into a per unit system with common base. I think I have given this example when I have explained the how to draw the reactance diagram in the per unit system class. Anyway, so here you can see generator is of 60 MVA, motor is of 50 MVA, transformers are of 50 MVA. So if we take 50 MVA, then our calculation will be lesser to some extent. But if you can take 60 MVA also, there is no problem. Then obviously Z in per unit will be what is the old value into VB square, V old by V new square, and B and KVA new by KVA old. That is that equation I have derived. You know this one. This equation will be frequently required because now MVA will be changed. Voltage may also change. Now you have to convert all the permanent quantities with respect to new base quantities and new MVA. Now let us go through the device to device. So at first you go for the generator. So generator 60 MVA, our base MVA is 50. So we have to convert this X in the which is 25%, that means 0.25 per unit with 60 MVA base and 11 kV base, that we have to convert into 50 MVA base. Now for generator and transformer T1 section, in between, there's a problem here. Cannot write. In between this transformer T1 and generator, the voltage is the level is 11 kV. Then for that, obviously voltage level will be same, but the MVA level has changed. So for transformer, for generator, XG is 0.25 into new base by the old base. So we get some value. Similarly for motor. Okay, and for generator and motor, they are synchronous machine. If it is not mentioned, then they are synchronous machine. Then in that case, obviously there will be an induced EMF in both the cases. So in both the cases, what will be the rated value at no load condition? 11 kV for generator and 11 kV for motor. So in both the cases, the base voltages are also 11 kV. So in per unit, the induced EMFs are 1 per unit because 11 by 11 is the 1. And for motor, the base MVA is 50 and motor rating is also 50. So XM is 50. 15 there will be no change. Similarly for transformers, the voltage, the MVA is 50. Now for transformer, primary voltage level is 11 kV, for secondary 132 kV. That is same. For the line also it is 132 kV. So there will be no change in reactance calculation. So reactance calculation will be same. It will be 0.1 per unit. So we can directly write. Similarly for line impedance is given. So base MVA is 50 and base voltage is 132 kV. So we can calculate line reactance in per unit. So from there, this total system we may convert into a reactance diagram. This thing we have already shown in our per unit class. Now the extra thing is here you have to identify the fault point. So fault point is here. So obviously here the fault point is at the transformer is this one. So here transformer is this one. So fault point is this one. So fault point we must connect to ground. Okay, I cannot connect this to this is the limitation of PDF. I do not know. Anyway, this is the fault point that we should connect to ground. I cannot. Anyway. So now what is the fault current? This one. So you have to calculate this fault current. Now you apply circuit theory. So by circuit theory, you can easily calculate this one. So this is the thing. Now whatever be the fault current calculation, that will be in per unit. You have to convert it into actual value. How will you convert? By getting the base, by knowing the base value, you can multiply the per unit value by base value. Now to calculate base current, we need the base voltage and base MVA. Base MVA is fixed, is constant throughout the system, that is 50 MVA. But for this system, base voltage will change from region to region. Here it is 11, here it is 132, here it is again 11. Can you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
So here now it is in transformer, a motor transformer HT side, high tension side. So 132 kV side. So here the base, for base voltage calculation, base kV will be 132 and you know the base MVA. Now here there, so we can make equivalent of this reactance, equivalent of this reactance, then you can easily calculate the current. That thing you can do. I shall give you this note also. So here we can calculate by any means the fault current will be this much, right? Now what is the base current? 50 MVA by √3 into 132. For base current there is a √3 portion. So I have suggested that you always use impedance and voltage, and whenever we need base current, we shall calculate current for that particular point. So here we need base current because we need the actual current. So we must calculate the base current, we multiply it by the with the per unit value. So this will be the actual fault current. So in this way we can calculate the fault current, right? Now this problem, I have given only one problem. This problem may be different type. Generally, here, say there may be another motor. One minute. There may be another motor here like this, right? So in that case, obviously in your equivalent circuit, there will be another motor, nothing more than that. Understood? So if you can draw the reactance diagram, you can draw for anything. There may be a parallel line for the same transformer. Then this parallel line will come here. Can you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, if that, so in this way, we can correct the things. I'm erasing this. Now, depending on fault point, there is one point that you identify the fault point. Why it is written? Because, say, here your fault point is HT terminal of generator transformer. Then what will be the fault point? HT terminal of generator transformer. So here, so in that case, this will be the fault point. Then you connect it to ground, right? Now say the fault point is, the HT terminal or LT terminal of generator transformer. So this one I am showing by blue. So in that case, this will be the fault point, this will be connected to a ground. I hope in all the cases you can calculate current. Can you? Could you follow me or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So every case, this will be the fault current if the fault is at the generator transformer, HT terminal of the generator transformer. This will be the fault current if the fault is at the LT terminal. LT means low tension terminal of the generator transformer. So in this way, if you can draw the reactance diagram, if you can identify the fault current, then the remaining thing is the circuit theory. So you can do it. So you try different type of problem based on this.
Ma'am,
Hmm?
how we have, drawn that circuit after getting the parameters in per unit system, how we have drawn this circuit,
This
just like
circuit, this circuit.
yes, yes ma'am.
I think you have not gone through then per unit class. Anyway, I am explaining. So this is actually per phase diagram. So here actually this is the generator point. So this point actually you may identify as G. So this is the generator terminal. So generator is always represented by voltage behind behind a reactance. It is a steady. It is a not transient. I am considering steady state. Nothing is mentioned. So generator in reactance into and generator voltage induced EMF. So this is the representation of generator. Then next is transformer. So if this point is A, so no, instead of writing G, write it be A. This point is B. Then in between A and B, there is the transformer. So transformer has reactance of 0.1 per unit. So we shall draw that one. In between B and C, there is transmission line. So in between B and C, we must draw the transmission line. In between C and D, there is the transformer 2. So then we shall put the transformer 2 reactance. And why we are not drawing the transformer, where we are not considering the step up or step down? Because when we represent by per unit quantities, then we have no need to bother about the primary or secondary. Both in primary and secondary, voltages are 1 per unit. So we may directly draw the phasor, draw the reactance directly. Only to mention that at the D point, the voltage level is 11 kV, but in C point, the voltage level is 132 kV in actual. But in per unit, in both the cases, it is 1 per unit. Then in between D and reference, there is the motor. So synchronous motor is always represented by voltage behind the reactance. So similarly, the reactance of motor, then the motor induced EMF. Would you follow me?
Yes ma'am.
Okay. Somehow my PPT presentation has deleted. I do not know. I have to check it again. Anyway, let me manage this at this moment in this way. So this is the reactance diagram. So after that, how will you get the faulted condition? Introduce faulted condition. Could you follow this or not?
Yes ma'am. Ma'am, can you repeat that point? After connecting another motor, you have connected this another parallel branch across the motor.
So motor, if we connect another motor, then at which point it has connected? D, right? So obviously within D and ground, there will be another motor. And if the parameters are known, then we can calculate we can put their values, right?
Yes ma'am.
In this way. So another transmission line may be there. Now transmission line, so complex thing generally I have not seen in undergraduate class. In any way, for sake of understanding, if there any complete parallel line going through it, then that parallel line is in between B and C, so that should come here. Understood? You just understand, no need to copy. If you can understand and then try the problem from other books, okay, then you just take the problem from the book and follow the class note and do it yourself. Then your conception will be clear. If you just read how they have solved in the book, then your conception will not be clear. Okay. Then say another thing may happen. There may be another line through the transformer. So in the same bus, this thing is more complex. Generally, it will not come in your book, I think. But for the say bus, we have extended. So here there may be another transformer. This line will be shorter as I am drawing freehand. So there is another transformer. Say the thing is like this. So T3, T4 again. There are two transformer. Say T3, T4. It may happen. This is very natural in a practical power system. So in that case, if I show by another color, say orange, then here obviously at point A there is another transformer, then another transmission line, then another transformer, then that is connected to point D. Would you follow me?
Yes ma'am.
So in this way, if you can convert everything in per unit, if you could follow the single line diagram, then there is no need to worry. You can draw for every power system. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that way, here our fault point is this one. So we short this one and calculate the fault current. So in this way, we can calculate the fault current. General examination fault current comes, but I have shown here the fault MVA calculation also to make you to clarify you. So fault MVA calculation. Before fault, the fault, what will be the fault base MVA, base KV. So here this is the fault point. So fault point as the primary of the transformer T2. So here that means the base kV is 132 kV. Obviously there will be some drop, but generally we allow maximum 5% drop. So here minimum voltage available is 0.95 per unit. So approximately it is taken as 1 per unit, near to the rated one. If you can calculate exactly and you can put it, but generally default voltage we take as the 1 per unit, because for 0.05 per unit there will be no such change, because current you can see rated value of current is always 1 per unit. So fault current goes beyond 5 times of that. So fault MVA will be much higher. So if you take 0.05 per unit or you do not take, that will not hamper the calculation so much. But if you want to calculate the exact value, then it will be tedious one. So you may take. So here the pre-fault bus voltage is 1 per unit and fault current is 5.6786. I have not written minus J because I am calculating what is the magnitude of it. So it is this much of per unit. Now our base MVA is 50. So it is this much MVA. Now if we want to calculate in actual quantities, then we have to think about 3 or root 3. So it will be 3 I phase B phase or root 3 IL VL in that way. So this is the thing. This type of problem you try yourself also. Okay. Now the next is the enhancement. So one thing here, why we are interested in calculation of fault MVA? The thing is that fault MVA means actually when there is fault, this much of current will flow through the circuit. So for this fault, if we want to disconnect the faulty section, that means we shall disconnect this portion. After transmission line, we shall disconnect the thing. So for that reason, in that case, we have to disconnect the circuit when the current flowing through it is around 1.24 kiloampere, right? Where the maximum current may be this 218 ampere or near to that, 1 per unit. So here the calculation, the current is huge. So for that, you have to select a suitable circuit breaker or relay to sense that one. So for that, what will be rating of that circuit breaker? What MVA that circuit breaker had to withstand? Because circuit breaker will operate at faulty condition, and that is connected at the healthy condition also. Actually, everywhere in this circuit there is circuit breaker. We do not show that one, that is shown by cross. That means if there be problem in generator, it can be disconnected. Actually, both side of the bus again. If there be any problem in transformer, it can be disconnected. Every portion can be disconnected safely. Now you may ask, if there be any problem in transformer, if it is disconnected, what is the function of generator? Actually, here I have shown an isolated system. But generally, one generator is not connected to one transmission line. There are several transmission lines connected to it. So when this line is faulty, only this transformer will be out of the section power system, but the generator may supply some other transmission line, other load through this other transmission system. So actually there are circuit breaker everywhere. Now these circuit breaker are connected closed under normal operating conditions. Circuit breaker, you may assume at this stage, is nothing but a switch. So actually these switches are, this is the switch. So this is the circuit breaker. If I write it circuit breaker CB, so this is actually closed. So this is the closed. Cross means it may open. So under abnormal condition, it will be open. So at which current we have to open it? For this example, 1.24 kiloampere. So it is huge. So it is very much difficult job. Okay, if 1.2 kiloampere current is generally this kind of inductive current, so that much inductive energy you cannot disconnect to zero. You cannot make it zero. Energy cannot be made zero. It can be converted into another form only. So you are making, if you make it forcefully zero, then it should be converted automatically to some other form. Generally, magnetic energy will be converted into capacitive energy, so huge voltage rise will be there. Huge voltage rise. So for that, so there is some control mechanism within circuit breaker which can control this huge voltage rise. So for that reason, actually the capacity of circuit breaker or rating of circuit breaker depends on several things. That means how much current it will carry at normal closed condition, how much current it may have to carry when it will be at abnormal condition, during faulted condition, at which current it may require to operate. That means it may require to open the circuit, in this case 1.24 kiloampere. So based on that, circuit breaker is selected. So in that case, MVA capacity of the circuit breaker will be this one. That's why fault MVA is important. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that will be more clear in the next topic. Say here, say we have a isolated substation like this. There is a generator, one or maybe more. This generator is supplying a feeders. Feeders means actually transmission line. In protection system, when we are discussing about protection of circuit breaker, then we do not use the term transmission line. We use the terms feeders and servicemen. You have heard the term servicemen, that are actually distributors that distribute the power. So in the servicemen, their current rating is very low and there is voltage drop, deviation in voltage at every step. Distributors are like this. So these are the currents. So current change at every point because there are branching. I think this figure is, you have at least seen this figure in your power supply system class. Then can you remember?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the distributor. So every point there is branching and every point there is change in voltage level, right? But in feeders, in transmission line, generally voltage level does not change. For this example, here voltage level does not change. So for that reason, this is the feeder or transmission line. So this is the difference between distributor and feeders. So we breaker on both sides of the bus. Bus is the node from where power transfer takes place. But in one point, node generally shown by a point in circuit theory, but by a line in case of power system, because several devices are connected there. So how we can show that? So for that, we show a continuous line, but it is nothing but a node. So here, this generator is supplying some feeder. So through feeders, some loads are connected. Now it may happen its capacity is increased because loads are always variable and loads are always increasing. So generator has a fixed capacity, so it may require to increase its capacity. So now two way we may increase the capacity. We may install more generator here, or we may connect grid with the generator. What is grid? Grid is some other source of energy which we may consider as an infinite bus and which may be connected here. Now always grid may have some higher voltage level, so it may be connected through a transformer. Because this voltage level in substation is generally lower than the grid voltage. Then it is connected to a transformer which has a reactance XT%. XT% means XT by 100 per unit based on transformer's own rating. XG% means XG by 100 per unit based on generator own rating. So here substation will be connected directly to the grid. Now if we calculate the breaker capacity, you will see breaker capacity for an isolated substation is lesser than the breaker capacity of the substation with grid, and in that case the existing breaker here may not be sufficient to give the protection. Say here you have connected a breaker with 200 MVA capacity. When you are connecting a grid through it, then requirement is 300 MVA. Then obviously your existing breakers cannot perform cannot serve the purpose. Then you have to replace those breakers, and breakers are very costly. If you replace them, then it is very much cost involvement. Now this thing can be tackled by using a reactor. If we use a reactor with a particular value, then same breaker of 200 capacity may be used along with the grid. So that's why we use the reactor. So there are two ways to increase the capacity of a substation. One, by connecting a grid. Then we have to increase the capacity of breaker for protection purpose. There are two issues. We are connecting grid to cater the extra load, that we can do, but at the same time we have to take care of the protection. So to save the protection devices, we have to change them. Otherwise, we may connect a reactor along with the incoming grid so that we can use the same breaker. So this reactor is called current limiting reactor because it will limit the fault current so that we can calculate it. We can use the same breaker. Let me show from here. My actual file has gone. I think you can see this Word file. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here the same figure. So if we go for the first portion, first isolated circuit breaker, isolated system, then what is the fault MVA? Fault current. Fault current is 1 by Xg because here this reactor is connected to the bus. Okay. So the thing is like this. Here I cannot draw in Word file. So thing is like this. This generator is connected to the bus. So if the bus is get faulted, then what is the general fault current? Simply 1 by Xg. Can you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
So here, this is the fault current. So fault current and fault MVA will be same because pre-fault voltage is 1 per unit. Understood? So the fault MVA we can directly calculate. This is 1 by Xg. Why I am interested in fault MVA? Because I am bothering about the breaker capacity, breaker rating. So circuit breaker rating. So this will be the fault MVA. Now, so the each circuit breaker rating SB should be selected such that it will be greater than 1 by Xg. It will be Xg. Obviously, because if you calculate this one, requirement is 200 MVA, then your circuit breaker rating must be more than 200 MVA. Could you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
So now we have enhanced the generation capacity due to the load. We have included one transformer again through grid. Then what will be the circuit right now? Now the circuit is like this. Along with this, we have connected. Leave it. Then along with this, we have connected a grid, which has a transformer XT and grid has a induced EMF. Why I have not taken reactance of grid? Generally, grid is an infinite bus. Do you have any idea of infinite bus?
No, ma'am.
Infinite bus means actually a generator which can supply any amount of load. So a generator can supply any amount of load, maintaining its load means both real and reactive. That means its voltage, its terminal voltage does not change by any means. So any load change, it can cater by its speed. So its speed is always constant at synchronous speed. That means it is a very a heavy alternator, and it has no internal drop. So if it do not have any internal drop, that means it has no internal reactance or resistance. That's why with grid there is no reactance due to its own. This is the reactance of transformer, because this is grid is connected through the transformer. Could you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you follow the reactance diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
So actually then what will be the equivalent reactance? Parallel combination of these. So parallel combination of this, in that way you can draw. And what will be the current? Actually 1 by xt plus 1 by xg. Am I right or wrong? What will be this fault current? 1 by xt plus 1 by xg. Is it right or wrong? Can you understand this or not? By KCL at that node,
Yes, ma'am. Right, ma'am.
outgoing
Ma'am,
current.
can you
What?
explain the parallel combination again?
Parallel combination means parallel combination. This figure or this next expression?
Ma'am, the figure actually.
Figure. So figure here
Yes,
is
ma'am.
the grid is connected through xt. So have you understood the blue portion of connection? Here the generator is connected to the grid, to the bus. So if this is the bus, then the generator is connected. Generator is through a reactance. So this is the connection. This is the reference. Now I am calculating fault current. That means at bus. That means that bus has connected to ground. So this is the thing. Now could you follow? This is
Yes,
the
ma'am.
XT. Now next, one grid is connected to it. So grid is connected. So grid is there, say GR for grid. Okay. So grid is also connected to reference, obviously. Then it is connected for grid. We do not consider any internal impedance reactance, because it can supply infinite, for infinite load it can supply constant voltage, and it can supply infinite load. So for that reason, no internal reactance, no excess for that, no synchronous reactance for G. Asynchronous reactance is 0, no armature reaction, nothing. Then it is an ideal one. Then it is connected to a transformer. So this is the thing. So now, what is the fault current? When grid is connected, summation of these two current will be the fault current. So this current is 1 by xg, this current is 1 by xt. So total current is 1 by xg plus 1 by xt. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So now this is the fault MVA. Fault current into pre-fault bus voltage is 1 per unit. So fault MVA. So obviously this is 1 by xt. Xt or xg is always less than 1. So fault MVA when grid is connected is obviously higher than when grid was not there, right? So now it may happen, you have select, say for I have shown you by values. So here it may be, say it may be 200, right? I have shown by red color. Now it may be 250 or 500, I do not know. It will be dependent on xt, is not it? Could you follow me? But this 1 by xg plus 1 by xt will always be more than 1 by xg, because 1 by xg I should write here, this one, right? If 1 by xg is 200, then 1 by xg plus 1 by xt will be more than 200. I am assuming 250, maybe 350 or whatever, I do not know. If I have values, numerical values, then I could calculate. By any means, it is sure that when grid is connected through a transformer, then fault MVA will increase. Now, you have connected a, say, protection system based on this 200. Say you have connected 250. Your CB is of 250. right? Then if your CV is of 250, then this during grid connection also it will serve the purpose because it is 250. It will be at limiting condition. But if you have connected CV of 230, then it will not work here. Is not it? So it will depend which CV you have connected. If your CV will the existing CV will serve the purpose, then there is no need of current limiting reactor. But if it is not serving the purpose, then you may connect a certain current limiting reactor and you may bring this fault MVA down to 230. How? When you connect a current limiting reactor like this, say here you have connected the current limiting reactor. I cannot draw here, so I have to draw in PDF file. So with this current limiting reactor, what will be the equivalent circuit with this current limiting reactor? For current limiting reactor, this current grid is connected to the bus through through the transformer and through the reactor. So in the Parnell diagram, this reactor will come here, or actually XT at first, and this will be the reactor. Would you follow me or not? This will be the diagram then. Is it clear or not?
Yes,
For
ma'am.
for figure 11C. So obviously in that case, current will be 1 by xt plus x plus 1 by xg. Right? Now this x may bring down that 250 to 200, 230. So that is the thing. So in that case, this will be the fault MVA that I have discussed. Then if we equate this SB equal to the limiting value of fault MVA, the breaker capacity, then we can calculate X. Now, if it is not possible, we do not know whether this X will be feasible or not. Now, if X is not possible, then it will come negative. Negative is X is not possible because you have connected a reactor. So that then it will not be feasible. If X is coming positive, then it will be feasible. Understood? Mathematically, you can take the thing in that way. Now, let me show one example. There is a generating station which has two alternators of capacity it is given. Rightly, let me go to the figure. So there are two generators. One is 6%, 8%. These are the KVAs, and the bus voltage is 3.3 kV. Now, due to extension of load, it is required to connect with a grid. Now, grid is connected. Generally, grid capacity will not be given because grid has infinite capacity. So grid through a connector, through a transformer of 100 MVA, X is 7.5%. Now, let us check at first. It is asked in the question how you calculate current limit, the value of current limit reactance of current limiting reactor so that existing circuit breaker may work. Let us at first check whether existing circuit breaker works or not. Because here it was difficult to explain because we did not have any values. Now we have the values. Now when the grid is not there, so these things are not there, only the generators. Then what will be the equivalent reactance? This one. Then what will be the MVA? This one. Because I have already discussed, this is the equivalent of this will produce the fault current. So this will be the fault current or fault MVA. If you multiply it by base current, it will give you the fault current. If you multiply it by base MVA, then it will give you the fault MVA. So this will be the fault MVA. Could you follow this one at first? So tell me, then I shall proceed. This thing and this one is same. 1 by xg plus 1 by xt. Here there are two generators. So they will contribute to fault current in parallel. Okay. So I have, instead of written 1 by x plus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 0.06 plus 1 by 0.08, I have written directly. And obviously before that, we have taken a base MVA. Sorry, I have not explained that one. We have to consider a base MVA that we have considered 10 because this is our KVA. So generator reactance are converted into that base. So that 6% become 0.12 and the 8% become 0.32. Now what will be the fault current? 1 by 0.32 plus 1 by 0.12. So this will be the 1 upon portion. So 1 upon that will be the fault current. Would you follow this or not? You do it your own. Cannot? Anyway, then here, these are the two generators, right? So here, it is 1 by 0.32 plus 1 by 0.12. This will be the fault current. So it is nothing but this one. 1 upon this one. Would you follow me or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So the same thing. Actually, I have done here in different way. So it will come how much? 0.32. Okay, you can do it. 0.32 into 0.32 plus 0.12 by multiplication. Just 1 upon that. So in this way, we can calculate in per unit. This is the fault current. Fault current and fault MVA are same because pre-fault bus voltage is 1 per unit. So if the fault current, fault MVA, if I multiply by base MVA, then we can get the actual MVA. So if we forget about grid, transformer, current limiting reactors, all those, then this will be the fault MVA. Then circuit breaker capacity must be more than that. In example, it is given circuit breaker capacity is 150 MVA. So the circuit breaker capacity is 150 MVA, then it is right. We could take 120, but this system has taken this one 150, no problem. So this is right. Then there is connection of grid, which is transformer reactance is this much. Then short circuit current added will be this much. So this much MVA will be added to this one. If you can follow this one, then this is when we have added transformer, then that transformer current was added with the fault current. So here we have no need to calculate total fault current again. We know the fault current for the generator only. Now we can calculate what current will be added due to the transformer through grid. This will be this much. So this 114.548 will be added to 133.333. Could you follow me or not?
Yes, ma'am.
So total current will be near to 247 like that. Is not it? 247 like that. So 247 now, but the circuit breaker connected is 150. So it will not serve the purpose. So existing circuit breaker cannot work. So if we want to manage with the existing circuit breaker, then we need a reactor. Then that reactor is in series with the transformer. So now it is not 133.3, but somewhat less than that. That will be dependent on that reactor value. What is the condition? This total MVA should be equal to 150 MVA, so that at least existing circuit breaker may be used. So if we equate these two, then we can get the value of X. X is in this per unit. Now if X is this per unit, then we can multiply it by base value. So this will be in ohm. So this much of reactor should be connected per phase so that we can use the existing circuit breaker. So in that way, we may extend the capacity of a substation. We may use same old circuit breaker with the help of current limiting reactor. So current limiting reactor is limiting the fault current so that existing circuit breaker can be used when we are extending the capacity of the substation. Would you follow me?
Yes, ma'am.
Go through the class note. I shall give you shortly. And if you have any doubt, you do for these two problems. You do it yourself. You consult other group, take the problems from there, solve it yourself, and tell me in the next class or in the next week. Within next class, name it may not be possible. I think on Wednesday, Thursday, we have class with you. I think so. Anyway, so if possible by next class, otherwise by next week. Okay, you do it. Okay, that's all for today. I shall give you the note, but it will take some time. I have to by today, obviously, because I have messed with the PPT. Let me clear it this at first. Okay, thank you. Please leave the meeting.